Hey guys, Professor Stick here. It's been a while since I've done a video that's heavily focused on explaining biology. If you scroll through my channel, you can see that most of my videos are on logic and reasoning. Although I do plan on primarily focusing on religion and atheism, debunking other types of pseudoscience or conspiracy theories is not outside the realms of possibility for my channel. And that's what today's video is going to be about. So as you know, there are always a lot of people on the internet that are doubtful of medicine, or offer some sort of alternate medicine in replacement. This is very dangerous, as any audience member that doesn't know any better may take their outrageous claims as true, and thus use their pseudoscientific method rather than pursuing actual medicine. And then we have the people who think medicine as a whole is a huge conspiracy. They claim that doctors and pharmaceutical companies are purposely withholding cures in order to make money. Just to make my point clear in advance, this does not happen. People who claim this are fucking idiots. Let's take a look at some of this bullshit. The video I'm about to show you is by a popular YouTube channel that focuses on conspiracies. It focuses on the question on whether or not the cure for cancer has been suppressed in order for pharmaceutical companies to make money. Now, before I begin, I must tell you that the video is actually simply describing the conspiracy and not in favor of it. Throughout the video, they kind of made it sound like they think that the cure for cancer is suppressed, but in reality, they are sort of in support of the other position. I'm only using this video as a medium to rebound my own thoughts, so without further ado, enjoy the video.
Cancer is one of the world's biggest killers, with 7.6 million people dying from it in 2014 alone. As populations in the developed world continue to age, the risk of catching cancer in our lifetime is increasing from a 1 in 3 chance to an estimated 1 in 2 chance by 2020.
So basically we're living longer because of better healthcare, and that means we're not dying of other diseases, so we're living to an age at which cancer comes into the question.
This is just to clarify why cancer affects so much more people now compared to the past. Hundreds and thousands of years ago, before modern medicine took place, there were many diseases that didn't have cures. As a result, many people died of these diseases. Now, cancer has the property that the older you are, the more likely you are to develop it. This is because cancer is primarily engendered through a critical mutation, either to a tumor suppressor gene such as p53 or to a proto-oncogene. Of course, this doesn't necessarily have to be a single mutation. It could be a translocation of a chromosomal segment. For the sake of making things simpler, let's just look at the p53, the main tumor suppressor gene we have. In order for a cell to become cancerous, both alleles of p53 must be mutated, because a heterozygous p53 still has enough function to keep the cell from mutating into a cancer cell. This is the reason why cancer can technically be genetic. An offspring who inherits one mutated copy of p53 only needs one more critical mutation on the wild-type p53 in order for it to become cancerous, rather than 2 separate mutations for normal people. As we know, the total number of mutations increases as age increases. More time means more mutations total. More mutations leads to a higher possibility of a mutated p53. This is the reason why immortality is nearly impossible, because the older you get, even if you don't die of all other causes, the high amounts of mutations will flood you with cancer. Now, where am I going with this? Due to the development of modern medicine, we are able to eliminate many other diseases that used to keep our life expectancy in the 30s and 40s. But since these diseases are no longer such a problem, our life expectancy increases, and as we get older, cancer is far more likely for the reason I stated earlier. That's why cancer is such a heated topic in medicine right now, compared to hundreds or thousands of years ago. Sorry for the long rant, I just needed to explain this to some uneducated people!
Conspiracy theorists argue that cancer research is covered up, and many potential cures are ignored and discredited because there is more money in perpetuating cancer than in curing it.
This is false. Any new discovery of something that can cure cancer will be attended to immediately by researchers. And look, you're talking about a cure here. A cure! For cancer, an absolute cure is near borderline impossible, not to mention that different types of cancer work differently. There will never be just one drug or procedure that has the ability to cure all cancers. The second reason that cancer cannot have an absolute cure is its ability to quickly mutate. Cancer, by loose definition, includes the fact that their tumor suppressor gene is malfunctioning. This allows the accumulation and production of a lot of mutations. Since mutations change the proteins that are expressed, it's very difficult to develop drugs to target tumors, since any mutation can prevent the cancer from being impeded by the drug. Different patients even develop different mutations, which means the same drug might not work for two different people, even if they both have the same type of cancer. So, in conclusion, cancer cures are not being suppressed. It is simply impossible to develop a single cure. Kind of like how it's impossible to stop stupid people from developing conspiracies like this. God damn it!
In 2011, articles circulated the internet claiming that Canadian researchers had found a simple cure for cancer, but major pharmaceutical companies were not interested. The articles were based on a 2007 study conducted by the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. The study found that the basic drug dichloroacetate, or DCA, could shrink tumours in rats infected with human cancer. Furthermore, the drug was tested on human cells cultured outside the body and was shown to kill cancer cells without killing healthy cells.
Okay, yes, this is true. Dichloroacetic acid has shown to have the ability to kill tumor cells in mice, and also in human tissues in vitro. But there is a reason we cannot use this drug for real cancer treatment, which I will get to in a bit.
Soon after the study was published by New Scientist, websites popped up selling DCA as a treatment for cancer, but were swiftly made illegal by the US Food and Drug Administration, even though the drug has long been used legally to treat the rare mitochondrial disease with few side effects. This swift crackdown on the once accessible drug led some people to claim that there was a conspiracy to suppress a cancer cure. While the FDA, cancer charities, and DCA researchers cited the need to conduct clinical studies before DCA could potentially be provided as a safe and effective cancer treatment, critics argue that 4 years on, pharmaceutical companies have neglected investing in trials on the drug, simply because it can't be patented and therefore no profits can be made from it.
Now, here's the real reason we abandoned DCA as a cancer treatment. Firstly, this shit is insanely toxic. A few studies were actually indeed conducted to see DCA's treatment capabilities, and the results was that all patients had to be removed from the trial due to suffering from toxicity to neurons. But, of course, for me, studies are not usually enough. I want to know why. Why is it toxic? Brace yourself, we're about to look at a chemical structure. What's the first thing you notice? Yup, the chlorines on the left. Primary chlorines are fantastic nucleophiles. They will react with tons of shit, but that's not even the worst part of this molecule. On the other side, we see a carboxylic acid. Of course, you know what this means. Carboxylic acids are known to be acidic due to its ability to have a stable resonance structure after the loss of a proton. Although this isn't as acidic as strong acids can be, the chlorines have an inductive effect that draws electrons away from carbon number 1. And guess what that means? You bet it makes it even more acidic. We're talking about a pKa of about 1.35 here. That is fucking insane. Well, kind of insane, I guess. Maybe not super fucking insane. So yeah, this makes DCA extremely corrosive. Simply inhaling enough of this bad boy will damage your respiratory tract, and trust me, you don't want that to happen. Ultimately, drugs all have side effects, but when you're introducing a drug that does more harm to the patient than the cancer, then it's not optimal.
A similar argument has been made by US cancer researchers who, despite observing that regular aspirin doses dramatically reduce the death rate in breast cancer victims, repeatedly failed to secure government funding for clinical trials. Although the government should have no profit motives when deciding which trials receive funding, the researchers believe their rejection is due to aspirin being too cheap for anyone to make money off it as a cancer cure.
This is probably quite interesting news for some of you. Yes, aspirin does have capabilities to prevent heart disease and preserve heart tissue. It also has some capabilities in preventing cancer. However, the key word here is prevent. Okay, before I continue, please guys don't overdose yourself on aspirin after hearing this. Aspirin is a non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug, which means it can give you some pretty bad stomach ulcers. Anyway, aspirin can help somewhat for cancer, but the effects aren't exactly great enough to be even called a treatment, much less a cure. Compared to alternatives, aspirin is not a very great option for cancer patients.
Additionally, despite studies showing that patients taking the diabetes drug Metformin have a much lower risk of dying from prostate cancer, no drug company has funded studies into finding out how it could be used in cancer treatments. Again, because it is not patented and therefore won't generate a profit.
Yeah, metformin has been studied and there has been no evidence that it can affect the risk of cancer at all. Do you guys just pull random drugs out of nowhere and claim that they're cancer cures? You know what? Maybe drinking bleach also cures cancer. How about you go try that? Okay, so the rest of the video is basically just saying that the cure for cancer has not been suppressed, as long as rich people and pharmaceutical company executives are being affected by cancer. And this is where we end today. Sorry about the long science explanations. For those of you interested in biochemistry, I hope you learned something new. Cancer cures are not being suppressed. You can trust people who work in the medical and health industries.